Australia's alliance with the United States is undergoing a period of heightened diplomatic tension. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has yet to secure a direct meeting with US President Donald Trump. The AUKUS Defence Pact is under strategic review, and trade-related uncertainties are emerging. These developments, alongside logistical challenges within US defence production and Australia's increasing defence investment, have raised questions about the future of Australia's US strategic cooperation. At the G7 summit in Canada in June 2025, President Trump met with all major Western world leaders except Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. ABC News reported that a bilateral meeting was tentatively planned, but was not finalised. President Trump departed early, citing events in the Middle East as the reason, skipping Albanese's meeting altogether. Senior US officials later told the ABC that they regretted the missed opportunity, but did not comment on a rescheduling or proposed new meeting. Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong described ministerial level discussions as ongoing and productive. To date, Australia has only engaged with the US through so-called side meetings, including between Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and between Defence Minister Richard Marles and US Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth. Prime Minister Albanese is now expected to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping ahead of any future meeting with Trump. The Lowly Institute notes this sequence may carry geopolitical implications regardless of intent. In late June, the Trump administration announced a strategic review of the AUKUS Defence Pact. US officials stated that the goal is to ensure the agreement aligns with American strategic interests. As reported by the Australian Financial Review, the review includes an assessment of the nuclear submarine delivery schedule. Bloomberg also reports that the US Navy is facing capacity and labour constraints in its shipbuilding sector. An anonymous US Navy official said, "The current system is not sustainable. We are at risk of falling behind on domestic priorities, let alone fulfilling external agreements." This review raises the possibility of extended delays or reductions in Australia's planned acquisition of Virginia-class nuclear submarines. The submarine transfer is the centrepiece of the AUKUS Pact, designed to deepen long-term technological and security collaboration between the US, UK and Australia. Former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has criticised Defence Minister Richard Marles over projections that the US could scale up submarine production to 2 vessels per year. Turnbull, citing US congressional data, stated that production is currently closer to 1.1 per year, with requirements of at least 2.33 to meet both US and Australian needs. He questioned the viability of Australia receiving any submarines on schedule. Turnbull also raised concerns that the US review could conclude that it cannot spare submarines for Australia amid strategic pressures in the Indo-Pacific, such as Taiwan. The University of New South Wales' 2024 Defence Report suggested that synchronisation issues across AUKUS could delay the submarine delivery timelines to 2050 or beyond. A BBC News report also noted internal concerns with the UK Ministry of Defence regarding alignment among AUKUS partners. This all includes discrepancies in infrastructure, readiness, workforce capabilities, and evolving military priorities in each country. Indeed, Australia is one of those countries currently working on logistical and infrastructure problems, with things such as railway gauge standardisation out of the public discussion, despite its strategic importance to civilian and military logistics. News outlet The Conversation estimated that only 1/3 of Australia's $368 billion defence investment plan will reach deployment before 2040, with the remainder still in development. Australia has pledged to increase its defence spending to 2.4% of GDP by 2030. This includes funding for nuclear infrastructure, missile defence, and regional security initiatives. According to The Guardian, multiple projects within the Department of Defence are behind schedule or over budget. These include long-range strike capabilities, cyber operations, and critical supply chain upgrades. A Sky News report also noted that Australia continues to strengthen ties with other regional partners, including Japan, India, and ASEAN economic partner nations. These partnerships are framed as complementary to AUKUS, but their importance may rise if US support wanes. In parallel with defence discussions, trade relations between Australia and the US are also under scrutiny. Sky News reports that Canberra expects possible tariff notifications under the Trump administration's revived trade policies. Sectors reportedly under review include steel, aluminium, and agriculture. Trade Minister Don Farrell has stated, "We're working through diplomatic channels and preparing for all scenarios, but the goal remains open, trade based on fair and legal obligations." While Australia is currently experiencing a multitude of tariffs, however, The Guardian reported that internal discussions are ongoing with the US Department of Commerce. Analysts note that any tariff escalation could have implications for Australia's wider export strategy and trade diversification plans. In terms of the political responses and public reactions, the federal opposition has raised concern over the lack of direct engagement between Prime Minister Albanese and President Trump. Despite this, opposition senators Alex Antic and UAP's Ralph Bett have confirmed private discussions and meetings with President Trump at various occasions. These meetings have been praised by the Australian Conservative establishment, claiming the Albanese government's weak leadership and presence in the two countries' relationship. On social media, Ralph Bett posted online, "Had another positive discussion with President Trump. Australia needs leaders who put sovereignty first," calling out the Albanese government. The Prime Minister's office declined to comment on opposition MPs' engagements, stating that foreign policy is conducted through formal government channels. In light of all this, Trump has also previously criticised Australian Ambassador to the US Kevin Rudd, describing him as not the brightest bulb. During his campaign, Trump suggested he would replace Rudd, referencing past criticisms made by Rudd and former PM Malcolm Turnbull. Public discussions in Australia has reflected growing interest in the country's foreign policy direction, with some commentators highlighting the need to reduce over-reliance on any single strategic partner. For the Strategic Outlook, Dr. Lavina Lee of the United States Study Center told The Age, "What we're seeing is not a breakdown, but a shift in tempo. The institutional alliance is intact, but political leadership matters when new challenges emerge." Dr. Sam Roggeveen of the Lowly Institute noted, "Australia is being reminded that the Great Powers Partnership comes with conditionality and sometimes unpredictability." Defence analysts expect that clarity on AUKUS timelines may emerge later in the year, following the conclusion of the US-led strategic review. The UN General Assembly in September is seen as a possible venue for a future Trump-Albanese meeting, although no such meeting has been confirmed by anyone. Until then, Australia appears to be navigating a cautious diplomatic path, balancing long-standing partnerships with emerging global shifts. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed our content, consider subscribing and ringing the bell so you can keep in the loop regarding the important news stories from the world and around Australia. We're also proud to announce the release of our 9th edition of the Snapshots newsletter. Concluding the financial year, we decided to engage in a massive restructuring program, which affected not only our newsletter, but many other places and many other pieces of content on our platform. For our newspaper, this means you'll be getting double the content, triple the writers, and even more, with our TDMG blind spots page being our core value proposition we give to you, all of it for free. And you can access this article, as well as many other editions of our newspaper, down in the description for free. Lastly, I'd like to thank our regular supporters and the team for making this video possible. Your support is crucial, and if you'd like to help, consider buying us a coffee, some merchandise, or purchasing our premium membership. And at the conclusion of this video, I'd like to give a shout out to some of our new members who've joined our team: Katarina Darris, Heidi Sharp, and Hannah Webb, who will be writing more of the content that you know and love. And we're still recruiting more people, so if you are ever interested in anchoring some of our videos, writing, editing, or anything that could be related to the media industry, we'd love to have you on board. But as always, I'm Heath Clark, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.